It's Lee from colouringqueen.net, and today I thought I'd colour in my A Million Unicorns colouring book. So this is by Lulu Mayo, and I thought we'd have a colour and chat and just, a quick one today. I'm going to do this double page scene, and I'm going to do it for my Things That Fly in July colour along. Now today I'm going to be using the Micador oil pastels, and I really want to see if I can do the whole spread in these oil pastels. They come in a set of 48, and if you're in Australia, I bought mine from Big W. Now there's a simple reason that I'm using the oil pastels today. It's because they're super soft. And guess what I've done? I've actually sprained my wrist. So for the last week, if you've got any typing or anything from me, hello Millie, and it's all got spelling errors and stuff in it, it's because I sprained my left wrist, and I never realised how much I actually use my left wrist, being right-handed. But anyway, it's sort of put a lot of pressure on my other dodgy right wrist anyway, so I thought I'll use something that's softer on my hands rather than pencil. So I bought these oil pastels, and often people use them for a background, which is what I'm going to do, but I wanted to try and use them for the whole thing because I've got so much pain in my hand and sort of all up my shoulder. And don't ask me how I did it. I have no idea. All I know is I was in the kitchen when it sort of failed, and I have no idea how I sprained or fractured the wrist. I'm waiting for an x-ray to come back. And I had all this huge swelling with it, which has gone down now, thank goodness. But I had no idea how much I use this stupid thing because I'm right-handed. But clearly I use it for typing, and so everything that you might have got from me, might have all mistakes in it, unless I've done hunt and peck typing. But anyway, hopefully it'll clear up soon. So I think you can see that it's a bit swollen in this picture. It took like 2 days for the swelling to go down. So yeah, hopefully it'll be better soon. But seems to be like one thing after another this year. It seems to be like, how some years you just have everything goes wrong and it just keeps piling up. Well, that seems to be this one. Hopefully, it's on a financial year and it'll soon be coming good. That's what I'm hoping for. So I apologise that I might be rambling a little bit. I've been up for most of the night. Poor little Buddy, our border collie, had, a number of seizures throughout the night, and so been up with him and making sure that he's okay. I'll just zoom you in here. And so, yeah, it's been a tiring night. I've had 4 cups of coffee, and they don't seem to be kicking in like they normally do. But anyway, I hope your day is going better than mine, and that you're having a good day today. It's, it's a funny day here. It was meant to be really sunny, but it's actually really windy, and it's actually really warm. It's 24 degrees, and it's winter. So I'm just wearing, summer clothes today, but it's actually meant to be winter. But it is blowing a gale here, so I hope you don't get too much background noise in there. Now these little pastel things, they are so easy to use. They're so soft, and you can blend them out with a few different things. So I'm just going to use a blending stump, but you can use all sorts of things if you want. I'm just interested to see, because they don't have an actual tip on them like a crayon, just interested to see if I can get them into a small space easy. So we'll see how that goes. I'll probably end up colouring the smaller leaves in with pencil and yeah, see how it goes. Now I know it looks a bit shoddy now, but once I blend it out, it should all blend pretty smoothly, and hopefully it'll be an easy way of doing things, when you just want to get into itty bitty spaces. So what I'm doing is just taking a bit of colour off the end to put in these little smaller spaces, and I'm just using those little blending stumps that you get from the discount art shop. You can get them in a packet of, several. What I would like is to get some of these oil pastels, because they're lovely and soft, that actually have a crayon tip on it. And I know Crayola makes some, but they don't actually sell them in Australia. So it's so annoying, because you can see that they've got a lovely tip on them and they might be great for colouring in these things. But unless I get them off eBay, really quite difficult to get in Australia. What else do I have to tell you? I've been planning Buddy's birthday, and we've incorporated Millie's birthday with that because we don't know when her birthday is. So at the end of the month, Millie's getting a snuggle bed, don't tell her, and Buddy's getting some intelligence toys, because he's only got a few little IQ toys and he can sort of pretty well solve the puzzles in no time flat. So we're getting him some more advanced ones that he can play with and keep himself occupied, mentally stimulated. He might, be able to graduate with a little certificate or something. I don't know. We've been taking him to the park a lot lately, to the big park that he loves, so he can run around there and play. But because he's had 3 seizures in the 24 hours, he won't go out for a walk today. He'll just rest and, hopefully by tomorrow he'll be ready and able to enjoy the weekend. And because we had planned to take him into the city and go for coffee and whatnot, although it is locked down again up here in Queensland. And Millie sat completely on my picture, little bugger. So I did some off camera, and now I'm just coming back and I'm going to add some more colour in here. It was a lot easier to do off camera, and I worked out, because I made a mess and I'm such a sloppy colourist, I really admire you people that are very neat. I worked out that I could just rub off the oil pastels with a cheap eraser. So the bits that I got in the wrong places, I just rubbed off. And honestly, I don't think I'd make so many mistakes if it had an actual tip on it. But I don't know, I probably would. It doesn't worry me anyway, it all came off with the eraser. So yeah, tomorrow we're going to take Buddy into the city, and we're going to go to a nice park and go for breakfast. Obviously we'll have to wear our masks and things like that, but it should be nice. It should be nice enough and something different for him. Always like taking him to new and different places. And on Monday, it's David and I's anniversary, 22 years. So we were going to do something, but I think we lost interest in it. With the lockdown and everything else, it just seems like too much hassle to go out, and it's winter and cold, and, well, usually cold. It's not cold at the moment, but, so we just thought we'd just have something in, or just go out on the weekend and call that the anniversary. It's just really not the year for it. It just doesn't feel like anything worth celebrating, to be honest. I don't mean that in a bad way. It just doesn't seem, that it's going to be that interesting. I don't know. I really am way too tired to think, but yeah, so. Oh, and I finally got some good news for those who know that I've been trying to get my qualifications converted to this state. And of course I realised that I'd lost my qualifications and had to reapply and get them, and I applied for them back on the 6th of May, and they were meant to be here before the 30th of June when my qualifications expire in the previous state that I lived in, and of course they didn't turn up, and I was getting really upset and distressed because I'm no longer listed in New South Wales, and to get my qualifications back there would be a big drama. And I'm not listed in Queensland because I couldn't get listed because I didn't have my qualifications, so it was all a little bit of a roundabout. Anyway, I rang them last week, I think, and yeah, I'm a really nice, easygoing person until you push me to my limits, and yeah, they'd got me when I was pushed to my limits because my qualifications had expired in New South Wales. I couldn't renew them because I didn't live there, and the first question is, you know, you have to live there. So, and I really needed them here in Queensland, and they just weren't here, even though I'd applied for them in 6th of May. And so anyway, I finally found out that the qualifications that I paid for 2 months prior were just sitting on some guy's desk, and he hadn't posted them, and I'd paid for extra for express post because, you know, I knew it would be important to get them ASAP, and they're just sitting there on his desk. Anyway, I spoke to this woman that really came to the party and fixed everything up really, really quickly, and she posted them up to me, and I got them the next day, which I was so happy to get them. Don't get me wrong, I opened them up and I was ecstatic to finally see them and get them and hope that I can, you know, transfer them over here to Queensland. But when I opened them up, I realised that they were actually dated the 14th of May, so they'd been sitting on that desk since like the 15th of May. So I'd been sitting here stressed out. I'd had to get multiple copies of documents because they kept expiring because I didn't have these documents to lodge, and paid out, you know, a fortune in money that I could have used for colouring books and buying Crayola oil pastels off eBay, but instead I used on bits of paper. And all along they'd been sitting there. They'd been done a week after I paid for them, and they'd just been sitting there. So I was so furious, and I did something that you should never do. I angry coloured. So I used my Koh-i-Noor woodless pencils, and I was so angry that I actually broke 3 of my pencils. And I'd previously dropped those pencils and never broken any, but I was so cranky that 3 of my woodless pencils broke, and now I've got 6. And not only that, but that was the day that I did my wrist in, and I was planning on writing out my big letter of complaint, and now my hand is so sore that I'm only able to type for a little bit at a time before I can't take it anymore and have to just do one finger typing. And so now I can't even write out my letter. I actually think I might try and use the dictation app on Microsoft Word and try and dictate something out today, because I really want my letter of complaint gone. And I really am not a Karen, but 2 months of waiting and being removed from the professional board in the previous state because I can't get my qualifications, and being put in a position where I'm not qualified in either state because someone couldn't post something off their desk is just beyond ridiculous. So I really want to let them have it, you know, both barrels. And and I really thought of by not being able to use my left hand for my aggro typing, but I'll probably break the keyboard because I'm still cranky. I'm still really angry thinking about it. So good thing I put the woodless pencils away, because I might end up breaking more of them. These Micadors, they blend really easily, and if you don't know, Micador's an Australian company, but they're actually owned by Koh-i-Noor in Czech. So they have a range of products for students and kids. You know, they're pretty cheap for what you get. Like, this was $16 for 48 oil pastels at Big W, so pretty good for what they are, and they're pretty creamy. And I do like that they erase. That's good. They don't erase perfectly, but it's better than nothing. I didn't think that they would erase at all, so I'm happy. And I just used a cheap eraser. I think with my electric eraser they probably erase better. But I'm trying to do like a little sunset picture on this, so I hope it turns out the way I sort of envisage. I'm not really used to colouring unicorns, so I don't know how I'm going to colour the rest of them, and I'm just trying to use the same series of colours on the page but in different positions. But I think the little elf in the tree, I think I'll probably do that in red, even though it doesn't really go with the pink and purple, but I'm seeing red there, so that's what I'll probably end up doing. So I don't know what other picture I'll do for my things that fly in July. I'll probably need to be something where I'm not using my hand as much, even though I'm right-handed. It actually hurts to put my left hand on the page, so that's why I'm doing a lot of this picture off screen and using the oil pastels just to make life a bit easier for me. But you know, hopefully it'll be one of those things that just fixes itself soon. So yeah, I hope you guys are all doing well. I know I've been going through a lot of my books, trying to find pictures that I can do for things that fly in July. And I realised that I don't really colour birds, so maybe I should try and challenge myself to do that and see how that goes. I don't know that I've ever coloured a bird, but anyway, can't be that bad, can it? So hopefully I'll do a birdie picture for my next picture and we'll see how that goes. But other than, you know, what I've already told you, we haven't really done much. We were expecting David's family up, but every time they basically book a plane ticket, Sydney goes into lockdown. So I think maybe we're controlling the lockdown in Sydney because we keep bringing them bad luck. Every time they book the ticket, Sydney goes into lockdown. So they were meant to come up, but then Sydney went into lockdown. But not only that, David's mum had the vaccination, the first vaccination, and she's one of the few people that had a really bad reaction to it. She passed out in the bathroom and she must have hit a leg on something, and she's got paper thin skin, and of course there was blood and stuff everywhere, and David's brother had to call an ambulance for her because she couldn't get up off the floor, and the ambulance said that apparently a few people have that type of reaction to the vaccination. So it was only, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours after she'd had the vaccine, and she got the bad reaction, and so then she's been put on bed rest, and yeah, because she is like nearly 80, so you know, she's got to take it easy and be careful. So yeah, hopefully she'll be better soon. David's brother's going to have the vaccine this week, so hopefully he doesn't have a reaction because he's looking after her. But I'm holding out on the vaccine at the moment. It's not a big thing in the state where I live, and as many of you know, I have a needle anxiety, and so I'm hoping that, you know, if we have to have it, that David can come with me or something so that I can actually go through it. So they should have some sort of pet support dogs at these health centres so that people like me can get the vaccines without freaking out everywhere. But I'm sure I'm not the only one that would present at these clinics with the severe anxiety, so hopefully they've got some sort of system in place. Anyway, that's it from me. Here is the finished picture. I did work on it off screen, as I said I would, and I did use some pencils, Prismacolors on the leaves and on the little elf. So that's it from me. Until next time, stay safe and happy colouring.